Let me tell you who the average typical American is. Well, let's just start with the food program because it was different than Rebecca's. The average American eats 12 entire 1,500-pound cows in their lifetime. Imagine 18,000 pounds of cow going through your mouth, through your bloodstream, through your bowels, liver, lungs, heart, brain, kidneys, anus. 6 entire 500-pound pigs, 3,000 chickens, turkeys, and other birds, 3,000 assorted fish and sea creatures, 30,000 pounds of animal flesh, 30,000 quarts of cow's milk in a lifetime. I call that liquid meat. The average American eats a high fat, high cholesterol, high sugar, salt, very low nutrition, highly refined, highly processed, preserved, cooked, fried, largely meat-based diet. The average American consumes 300 soft drinks a year, consumes 12, which each of them have 12 teaspoons of sugar in, by the way. The average American eats 170 pounds of white refined sugar a year, 400 candy bars, 500 donuts. Let's talk about how that average American poops. The consequences of a high animal fat diet that contains zero fiber means that the average American only has between 2 and 4 bowel movements a week. Now, normal is having a few bowel movements a day, 1 for each major meal, so I calculated that out, and that means that the average American is 70,000 bowel movements short in their lifetime from birth to death. That's a lot of shit, my friends. I mean, think about it. Think about it. That's pretty scary. In the same book, in the 1950s, they said 10% of Americans had diverticulosis, intestinal polyps, and bowel disease. In the 1960s, they said 20 and 30%. In the 1970s, they said 40 and 50. In the 1980s, they said 70, 80. In the 1990s, and now the latest edition of the Merck Manual says 100% of Americans will be awarded with diverticulosis or polyps or some type of bowel disease if they live long enough. And wouldn't you think that someone would think, wait a minute, 70,000 bowel movements short, 100% of us have bowel disease. Do you think someone would think of that as an equation and come up with the answer that maybe it's because we're not pooping, why our organ to remove the poop that's storing the poop instead of getting rid of it is rotting? It's really simple. Newtonian physics.
Knjige doktora Ričarda Šulca, Lečenje neizlečivih bolesti, 30-dnevni program čišćenja organizma i druga izdanja, kao i biljne preparati i tinkture prema originalnim receptima doktora Šulca možete nabaviti putem telefona 063 732 7738 ili preko web sajta dršulc.com. Ukoliko želite da studirate prirodnu medicinu iz svog stana putem interneta, posetite sajt institutpm.com ili zakonizdravlja.com. Upis je otvoren tokom cele godine.